Hey everyone, how's it going? Want to do a vlog and continue to document my journey as it relates to this subject and just my life in general. But before I dive into it, go ahead and drop a comment, say hello, let me know that you were here, whether you're watching it live or you're watching a replay. Leave me a comment. I'm going to post this video on Facebook and YouTube. And yeah, so let's dive into it. I titled this one today, Why Women So Vehemently Oppose Polygyny, because I was really thinking about it. I'm looking at these comments and how vicious these ladies have gotten, and most of them arguing from a place of opinion, or just presenting societal potential implications, or just name calling. It's really gotten kind of ugly, and I've tried to stay above it. But, if you go back to the garden, at the fall of man, Adam and Eve, after sin entered the world, that's the fall of man, God said to Eve that your desire will be for your husband, but he will rule over you. Okay, so that right there set the stage for future problems in relationships, because the women desire to have a position of authority, but the man will actually rule over them. So the idea of polygyny even being a possibility, not even necessarily doing it, but just mentioning that it is a man's biblical, has biblical authority or a biblical right to do it, that alone subjugates the woman to the man. She has to come under his dominion and his authority. And they hate that. The Christian women hate that. They are like, no, that's not true, and all the reasons why, and it doesn't matter how many arguments you stack up against it to show you, no, this is commanded at times, this is regulated, commanded, never spoken negatively of or condemned in any way in the Bible. They just don't want to hear it, because it would subjugate them to men in the relationship. But what I've seen personally is that women, and this is part of the curse, I don't even fault them for it, because I don't think that they could not do it, because this is the world that we live in. We live in a fallen world. Is they desire to have control. They desire to try to control their man. And if you let them, they resent you for it. And then they end up leaving you for someone more masculine anyway. So what I believe is reserving that right to polygyny based on what the Bible says, whether you do it or not, puts the male and the female in their proper roles in the relationship, in their proper positions, where a woman can be in her feminine and the man can be in his masculine. And that would set them up for success long-term in the marriage. I mean, have you ever thought, like, why is the divorce rate 56% under monogamy only? Has that thought ever occurred to anyone? I mean, it's definitely occurred to me. Everyone will just say, well, it's because of, people don't love each other like they used to. People are selfish, or, all the things that we'll come up with. The media and, social media, whatever it is, we'll come up with all the excuses, never really thinking, could it possibly be the model? Because this wasn't biblical. I'm not saying monogamy wasn't biblical, but monogamy only is not biblical. Okay, go back to Exodus 22:10. If a man takes a second wife, God regulates how to do it. Exodus 22:16. If a man seduces a virgin, he must marry her. He must. It was a command. That's just a couple of bricks in a very big wall that would present the case for polygyny. But just the man reserving the right to choose a second wife puts the man in his proper role in the marriage and the woman in her proper position. Again, back to, I mentioned the divorce rate, but also of the people that stay married, the 44% of the people that stay married, 50% of them stop having sex after year 4. Did you all know that? Like, they just don't have regular sex anymore. So whatever the, physical attraction that they had before they were married goes away after they get married. That doesn't sound right. Like, is that the way God really would want it? I mean, so we're doing God's ideal by doing monogamy only, and not only do you have a 56% chance of failure, you have a 50% chance of, if you make it, of not having sex anymore, regular sex. Like, who the hell wants to sign up for that? Like, what I believe is, again, if the man is in his proper role in the relationship, and the woman in his masculine, and the woman's in her proper role in the relationship, in her feminine, that keeps the relationship healthy and spicy, and they stay physically attracted to her because of the polarity in the relationship. Monogamy only puts them at equals in the relationship, meaning like the man doesn't have dominion. He doesn't have authority. He's not in a position of headship over his woman. And then the woman loses interest. She doesn't want to have sex with him anymore. So then 75% of divorces are filed by women. So she files for divorce. And more than likely, she goes out and sleeps with men outside of marriage. These are the numbers. This isn't stuff that Rob made up. I'm just presenting data to you. You could say, well, it's not because of that. I don't think we know, because we've never lived in a society that polygyny was decriminalized or even allowed. It's so stigmatized now that people that practice it don't even talk about it. They won't come out with it because they'll be persecuted the way people are coming after me for just talking about it. But think about this, okay? Okay, so let me give you a personal example. First off, do me a favor, drop a comment, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from, what city you're watching from. If you're new to any of my stuff, just let me know how you came across us. Drop that in the comments if you would. Again, whether you're watching live or you're watching the replay. But I'm dating this girl. I'm not dating. I'm talking to this girl in the Netherlands. We've been talking for a while. It's going really well, actually. I send her scriptures, devotionals, my thoughts on, different Bible verses. We pray together frequently, daily, pretty much. Tell her bedtime stories. It's going really well. And, think about what kind of man you would have to be in order to get a woman to marry you and actually stay with you under polygyny. Right? You're going to have to be top shelf. You're going to have to be a 1% man, because most men right now are in that bottom 80%. They can't even get one, much less get a woman to marry them saying, I might want a second. Okay, so what happens is, because we live under monogamy only, the majority of men, go out and do it anyway, but they never level up. They never become the kind of man that would be able to pull it off and actually be able to be honest about it. Right? Because you have to be the kind of man that woman would look at and say, this guy, you know what? I ain't going to find another guy like him. There ain't no way I'm going to find another guy like him. And you know what? I will do this, because he is so unique and so special that I'll marry him, even under the premise that he might choose a second wife. But men don't do that. What they do is they never become that man that would be able to be honest with them, with their woman about it. And then they go out and fuck girls anyway. They just go out and cheat. And they never level up in order to be the kind of guy that could honestly say, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to do, possibly. So then they're just do it deceptively. And then the women that they cheat with, think about them. What do they bring to the relationship? They add nothing to the family unit. All they're doing is fucking somebody else's husband, hoping that he leaves his wife for them and maybe be a homewrecker. That's all they got. But they add no value to the family unit whatsoever. Versus a second wife actually has to bring value to that family. Maybe she's staying at home taking care of the kids while the first wife goes to work, or vice versa. Or maybe they both stay at home and they just share the household responsibilities. She has to bring some value in order to, but with monogamy only, it happens anyway. Not only does the man not level up, the woman, the side chick, brings nothing to the relationship. She brings nothing of value. So, yes, I can see numerous practical benefits for it. And again, no one would force anyone to participate. No one would force anyone to do it that doesn't want to. Don't do it. If you want to stay single for the rest of your life, by all means, you should have the right to do that. I'm interviewing this guy today on my podcast. His name is KGB, Kabir something. He's an ex-Green Bay Packer, Pro Bowler, Hall of Famer, Green Bay Packer Hall of Famer. And he's married to 2 women. He's a Torah observant Jew. So they have this different sects of Christianity where they're like black Jews. They believe that the Africans were the lost tribe of Israel. I don't know a lot about it, but I know he's part of that. And he has 2 wives. Okay. And I was talking to him on the phone the other day, and he was talking about how he got into his second marriage, and basically his father was sick and he needed some help with his dad, and his pastor sent a woman, a single mom, over to his house. I think she had been like maybe a hospice nurse, or she had some nursing experience. So he sent the woman to her house with her 2 kids. She had like 2 small children, 8 and 10 or somewhere around that age. And the woman lived in his house. He has he's an ex-NFL player, so he has a big, nice house. And she lived in the house and took care of the guy's dad. And, he's like, she's, I don't want to get into that part, actually, what he said. But what he said, in essence, where I'm going with this, is he basically ended up marrying her as a second wife. And he goes, and the kids, he sat down and the kids were like, "Are you going to be our daddy now?" And they were so happy it made him cry. And he didn't marry her because he just wanted to have sex with this other girl. Like, he can do that now. He's an ex-NFL player. He can go out and sleep with as many women as he wants now. He wanted to give her a covering, and he wanted to take care of the kids because the woman had been so kind to him and his dad. And think about it. Again, I go back to the numbers. The chances of that this woman would have been able to go out and find a good, godly man to marry are not that great, like 1 in maybe 10 or 20, like maybe 50%, even if it was 50%, which I know it's not. That ain't that great. So 50% of them got to not find a good, godly husband and not have a father to their children and not have a spiritual leader and a priest of their home. Like, how does that make sense? And the men just go out and fornicate anyway. Like, someone explain it to me. Someone please make it make sense. Why people are so opposed to this. I know why the women are opposed to this. It goes back to what I said. It subjugates them to men, and they hate it because it's part of the curse. They want to be in control. A lot of these women have Jezebel spirits. If you don't know what that is, look it up. But they want control. They can't stand it for a man to have control of them. Their fierce independence won't let them, put themselves in a position under a man. And I get it, because some of these women, maybe they've had shitty men in their lives. Maybe they've been abused physically or, emotionally or sexually even. And they can't trust a man. I don't know. I think that's real. And I acknowledge that. But it doesn't change the fact that I believe firmly that this is biblical. You as a woman get to choose who you let lead you. Okay? Don't let anyone lead you. You get to choose who you let lead you as a man, but he will lead you according to the Bible. That's all I really had to say for today. The podcast is at 2:00. Tune in, KGB. If you got any questions that you want me to ask him. Great guy, good Christian guy, and really devoted to the Lord. I'm excited to talk to him and continue to bring awareness to biblical polygyny. So anyway, I'm going to go plunge later. I'm not looking forward to it. It's freezing out, and it's definitely getting harder as the year gets later. But that's it. Let me just see if there's any questions here before I jump off. Feel free to drop a question before I jump off here if you like. Jimmy Akers, what's up? Rick Lubiniz, what's up, brother? I missed you at breakfast the other day with Tom Dixon. Poulain, Kubela Ramsfiza, David Philippe, Daniel Haddix, Vicky Bowles Parlor. Hi, Vicky. Donna Puzinski dies. Hey, Donna. Long time. How's Jeff? Dale, Howard, run for president. Yeah. I think I would lose 50% of the vote right off the top. Gina Brink. What's up, Gina? Jason Townsend. I think I already called you out. Jason Webb. What's up, Jason? Marilyn Mendez, Jim Morganti, Bonnie Bales, Bill Arnold, the Watson. Yeah, that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to talk about. That's it. Yeah, that's all I had. I really think that the women are so opposed to this because it puts them in a position of, puts the man in a position of authority over them. Even if the idea that he could, you know. Someone said to me early on in this, they're like, you want to know who's in control in your relationship? Bring up polygyny. You'll find out real quick. Because the woman will be like, oh, hell no. You know, like that. Again, if you can prove to me biblically, and I don't think you can. By the way, I issued a challenge. Let me just mention this real quick. I issued a challenge on Facebook. I want to have a panel. I want to have 2 or 3 people that, so here's, I want to have 2 or 3 people that are proponents of polygyny. I want to have 2 or 3 people that are opponents that really know the word. I want both sides to really understand the word, and I want to have a panel, and I want to keep it, you know, very level-headed and controlled. But I want to present, I want them to go against each other, and I'm going to be part of it too. And let's get to the truth, right? Don't you all want the truth? I want the truth. The truth will set you free, the Bible says. I want to know what the truth is. I don't care if I don't like it. I want to know what the truth is. No one's accepted it yet. I got 41,000 subscribers on YouTube. No one's accepted the challenge. You would think that if someone was so sure that I was wrong, someone would step up and accept the challenge and just show me where I'm wrong. Show these people where they're wrong, because y'all talk real big in the comments. But when you're given a chance to actually prove your point biblically, let's go on the live. Show us right in front of everybody. Put us to shame. You know, make us look like a fool. I don't think someone can. I don't think anyone can. I've read the Bible. I've read all the passages. Both sides. I've been studying this for a while now, and I don't think you can. But if you can, we're going to do it. The offer's there. Hit me up. Drop a comment. Tag your pastor below. Let's get it on. Let's do it. I think it'll be great. You know, shut me up, please. But if not, I'm going to continue talking about this because of how massively beneficial it would be for the world if people accepted it. We're actually starting a prayer and a monthly day of prayer and fasting starting tomorrow, December 2nd, for the decriminalization of polygyny. There's a group of people that are starting this in the United States. So if you want to be part of that, you can private message me. You can comment prayer below if you don't care if your name is out in public, or you can just private message me. I'll make sure you're added to the chat. And we're going to start praying about this. And, you know, hope that God moves, you know, hope that God lifts the veil, or, you know, removes the scales from people's eyes so they can see the truth on this. I mean, I wish I'd known this sooner, to be honest. My life would be so different. My life would be so different had I known this. You know, like, I believed in monogamy only. I bet the farm on it. 2 decades of my life buying this shit. Thinking that this one special woman was going to come along, that God was going to say her, or just someone that I was just like so sure about that I would go to God and try to convince him. Neither happened, because and in my spirit, looking back, I knew something was wrong. That something didn't line up, but I just assumed that, you know, what I was being told was accurate. And that sooner or later a woman was going to come along and change my mind and make monogamy only make sense to me. It never happened, you know? And I understand now why God never allowed it to happen. Because the system's broken and he wants it fixed. People say, oh yeah, you know, you're being deceived, the enemy. No, listen, I'm being led by the Holy Spirit. And time will tell that what I'm saying is true. So yeah, that's it. Just reading a couple comments here. Dale Howard said, you can't prove someone is being foolish if they just insist on there being a wise man, and that's anyone. Well, I think you can prove someone if you present them with enough facts, right? Which is the purpose of this live. Why was anybody scared to debate? You know, like if your point is so strong, shouldn't you want to go on and show people? Like, that's why I'm talking about it so much, because I believe in it so strongly. Because, you know, like I would say I know I'm right, you know, but you can just say I think I'm right. But why would someone be afraid to go on live if you're that sure? Like, show us where it's wrong. If you're, you know, like, I think people that are afraid to debate know their argument is weak. That's what I think. Jeremiah 8 says, how do you say we are wise and the law of Jehovah is with us? Behold, the lying pen of the scribes has certainly worked deceit. I don't understand that. Hey, John. Jeremiah 8:8 was the critical point. Anyway, guys, that's it. Tune in at 2 o'clock with Kabir, KGB. And if you want to be on that prayer, in that chat for the day of prayer and fasting, the monthly day of prayer and fasting that starts tomorrow, drop a comment or send me a private message. If you have a pastor or you know somebody, I want somebody that really knows the word. I don't want some schmo, all right? I don't want some everyday person. I want a theologian that really disagrees with this to come on and show me and one or two others where we're wrong. Tag them in the comments. Love to have that conversation. Talk to y'all later.